Oh, you wish to talk to me? Truly, it's a courtesy for one so well-armed to notice a lowly merchant.
Live on the surface?
Someone has to. Trade with other races can dry up. We surfacers are Orzamar's lifeline, even if we're denied a caste. The Assembly says we've turned our back on the stone, but they still use the goods we bring. Hypocrites.
That's not right. Someone should do something.
Maybe it'll change by the time my children are grown.
How often do you restock in Orzammar?
Twice a year. I'm confined to a trade stall in the Commons, but I see enough. It's very closed in. My grandfather says I've lost my stone sense. I was born topside. I don't remember having it.
Never mind, I should go.
Best of luck to you.
I thought maybe I could buy something from him. Instead, he's just a guy that's going to give you information about how the surface dwarf stuff works and all that jazz.
King Loghain will not...
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
I have important business in Orzammar.
None more important than mine.
Your business will wait. Orzammar must limit outside influence until the throne is settled. No one gets in.
Why have your people retreated like this?
They hide because they are dwarves.
I would challenge any race to fare as well. Our king is dead. Endrunaidukan returned to the Stone Knot 3 weeks ago. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
A blight is coming. They must unite for Ferelden.
Wait, who are you to speak for Ferelden? You're no messenger to Loghain, that's for certain.
Thank the ancestors.
I am a Grey Warden. This treaty obliges Orzammar to aid me.
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Run to your false king. The dwarves will not hear him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
Don't worry. I'm not going to find help. I'm going to be the help. I will literally have to...
A trust follow, Warden. Your arrival is a mixed blessing. Fair journeys, Warden.
Oh, I cut him off, unfortunately. I apologize.
Do you think they sell miniatures of these in the city? I would love to have some on my mantle.
Miniatures of what?
I haven't eaten in days. Bread? Please, sir. Just a bit of bread.
I can't help him? How dost you? Okay. The Paragons. As I studied among the dwarves, I became aware that their social system was as rigid as the stone that surrounded them. From the lowest servant to the king of Orzammar, each dwarf has a caste, a rigid social standing which dictates what he may do and how he may do it. What fascinated me, then, was that the dwarves, stubborn and proud as they may be, have built in a way for even the lowest dwarf to bypass the caste system and reach prominence. Excuse me. Any dwarf who has made an achievement of significance can be named Paragon, elevating that dwarf above all others. To become a Paragon is to be recognized as essentially a living ancestor. Your words are considered ineffable, and the dwarves liken you unto a god. Your family, those you choose to ascend with you, become the founders of a new line of nobility. Indeed, every existing noble house among the dwarves traces its line back to a founding paragon. It is a rare thing, however. In my visit, I learned that only one paragon has been elected in generations, the Smith Branca, exalted for her discovery of smokeless coal. I met the paragon Branca only once during my stay, and I consider it an odd occasion indeed. Surrounded by those of her house, this ill-tempered woman was draped in the finest clothing and jewelry, and was obviously revered even above the highest nobles, perhaps above even the king. Yet she seemed to enjoy none of it. The burden of being a living legend is great, it appears. Statues of the paragons are found throughout Orzammar, though nowhere so prominently than the Hall of Heroes, through which one passes on entering from the surface. It is a breathtaking sight to behold. Great works of stone, all seeming to hold up the ceiling above. It is meant to impress upon visitors to Orzammar all who have gone before. I think. It is also meant to remind dwarves going to the surface and thus abandoning the brethren forever of all they are leaving behind. From Stone Halls of the Dwarves by Brother Gentili Tree Scholar. Characters. King Endrin Iduken. Denial of the traditions of our people does not qualify as a political technicality. Endrin of Has Iduken traces his ancestry back to the paragon Iduken, the greatest warrior of Orzammar's history, who beat back the Darkspawn hordes in the First Blight. The second son of King Ansgar Iduken, he became heir after his older brother died in approving. The most respected king in 4 generations, he restored contact with Kal Sharak, the only other remaining city of the once vast Dwarven Empire, which had been lost during the First Blight. Boop. My phone is going off now. Explanation of the paragons. Why on earth market is red?
Huh.
Now that's a thing of beauty, daughter. If you work hard like Branca, all Orzammar will know your name.
Mother, I don't want to be like her. She...
Don't say that! Not to me, not to anyone. Now get back to the forge. I want to see more details.
Yes, Mother.
Explanation of the paragons. In other words,
it is sometimes so hard to believe that you have been through so much at such a young age.
I think I look younger than I am.
Yes, that is possible. When I was your age, I was just about ready to take on my first apprentice. In hindsight, perhaps I should have waited a few more years. I was arrogant, my confidence bolstered by my youth.
It is so hard to imagine seeing you now.
Oh, I've had some 2 decades or so to grow mellow. Believe me, back then I was quite prickly.
So you are like a fine wine, yes? Losing the raw edges over time.
I suppose there is some truth to that analogy, but dear Maker, I do hate being compared to wine. Or cheese. Especially cheese.
well, quest related. While your concerns have merit, the Assembly has made itself clear. Space within the Tig is at a premium, but the intended function of the Hall merits the additional resources committed. The statues of the Paragons must be the core of the Hall of Heroes. There is no other placement that so benefits Dwarven interests. It is the first glimpse that surface ambassadors have of Orzammar, an introduction not just to our living ancestors, but also to the stone from which we were born. They must see it shaped before they can understand the complexity of its raw form. The hall must also serve a second purpose, as a last sight for departing brethren. Those who choose to leave must do so with the heavy gaze of their ancestors at their backs. It is a reminder of duty and of consequence. We will promote all manner of trade, but also reinforce that those who leave for too long will return as strangers to the stone. From a report of the Assembly Zoning Commission. How's that quest related? Orzammar. See Ghost. The wars of the Assembly, leadership of Orzammar is in chaos. Missing the Assembly, this seems like the likely place to start looking for a solution. The chamber of the Assembly is in the Diamond Quarter. More loading screen. Yay!
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew!
Handlers, separate these dashers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
You will not speak that way about the man who should be king!
That just happened.
Fine, idiots. I won't have fighting in the Commons, especially in front of outsiders.
Lord Pyrrol Harrowmont. No one is born with rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the Assembly ultimately decides who will rule. House Harrowmont is one of the oldest noble houses, as old as Orzammar itself. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Harrowmont, is well known for being an able administrator, and the author of many compromises in the ever-warring Assembly. Balin Iduken. This is a time for action, not culture debate. A third of King Endrin's children, Balin has always been considered the last and least of his family, not the heir nor the favorite, and not as accomplished as either sibling. Balin's most notable trait was his ability to stay out of trouble.
Vieta, Surfacer. I'm bid to let you walk the Commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
Blight is coming, and I need Orzammar's assistance.
Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the Assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Balin, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here.
Paragons.
Surfacers appoint no paragons? Truly, you're lost in all that sky. They are the best of us, declared living ancestors. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
I should get going.
Yes, you should.
You're obviously not going to be helpful.
For a tiny people, they certainly build high ceilings.
Quite. It's quite helpful, though, considering armors.
Ancestors, guard my son, for he is lost in darkness. Mothers, keep him safe, for you know what it is to mourn. I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone.
What were you praying for?
My name is Vilda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Rock. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul.
Safe return? Your son is missing?
It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them.
Do you want me to look for him?
How? There is no way except to brave the Deep Roads yourself.
I am a Grey Warden. That's what we do.
A warden? So you could do it. Only wardens face the Deep Roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good widow Filda. We'll do our best.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
Lightning and thunder outside. Hilda, Commodore, Legnar.
What is that smell? Dwarven vomit. Charming.
Topsiders? Good. Get some outside gold in here. Calm people down. Make them think we should open the gates for good. The more cracks in the old way, the better. That's what Balin stands for.
Your allegiance to this Balin is clear. Why?
Not your business, but I see where the gold is. He's the traditional pick, yet he wants a new way, whether some like it or not.
Let me see what you have in your store.
I'll take your gold. You're good for that.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, Tome of the Mortal Vessel. Yeah, because I totally want to sit here and buy that. Technically I do actually get that. However, I don't have an option. Sapphire. Duster. Never mind then. You keep your things. Casts. Visitors to Orzammar should keep in mind that the hierarchies of dwarven society are much more complex than our own. It is easy to gravely insult a man simply by mistaking his position. Since this can lead to unnecessary loss of life and limbs, I will attempt to mitigate the danger for my fellow travelers. The society of Orzammar is divided into nobles, warriors, smiths, artisans, miners, merchants, and servants. Now, you are undoubtedly saying to yourself, we have all those divisions among our own people. This is a dangerous misconception. Certainly we do have nobility, artisans, merchants, and these positions are largely inherited from our parents. However, the younger children of noblemen often choose to be artisans or soldiers. The sons of merchants may join the army or become servants or apprentice themselves to craftsmen. This is all freely chosen, limited perhaps by the circumstances of birth, but still chosen. What is a matter of choice for most human folk is dictated entirely by birth for dwarves. No one may become a smith who is not born into Smith caste parents. A servant who marries a noblewoman will never be a noble himself, and although his daughters would be nobles, his sons would be servants, for daughters inherit the caste of their mother, all sons inherit the caste of their father. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. That Dust Town, that's not where I should go.
All right.
City of Orzammar. The dwarves are lauded for their craftsmanship. The city of Orzammar is one of their finest works. Orzammar lies at the heart of the Frothback Mountains, deep underground. The city arcs outward from the Royal Palace, which is built around a natural lava vent, continually fountain in liquid rock, which both lights and heats the entire cavern. The topmost tier of Orzammar is home of the noble caste, with their palaces fanning out in both directions from the court of the king, as well as the Shaper, which serves as a repository for all dwarven knowledge. The lower tier is the commons, where the merchant caste holds sway, and where the finest works of Orzammar's craftsmen are for sale. In the center of the river of lava, connected to the commons by a causeway, are the proving grounds, a sacred arena where the dwarves and by ancient tradition settle their disputes. On one side of the fiery river are the ruins of old dwarven palaces, falling into disrepair, which the locals call Dust Town, now home of the city's castles. On the other side of the river are deep roads, which once joined the sprawling dwarven empire together, but Now, after centuries of darkspawn incursions, are largely sealed off. Nearly all knowledge of this network of underground passages has been lost even to expert builders. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, the travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Janty.
Did you see that? I cannot believe what this city has come to. This would never have happened when Endrin was alive.
People are at
The city is torn apart. King Endrin is dead, and the Assembly can't decide who takes the throne. Lord Harrowmont or that monster Balin.
Why such hate for Balin?
Everybody knows he killed his brother Trian and let his father's favorite son take the blame. And many question whether Endrin died abed, as we were told, or whether Balin helped him along.
Harrowmont qualified to rule?
He is a good man and a skilled general. King Endrin trusted him with his life, and I will do no less.
I should go now.
You come at a sad time, stranger. I'm going home to wait it out. I suggest you do the same.
I can't exactly do that. I actually need the help of the dwarves. Imports. Nug Wrangler. Dagna. Aaron.
Yes?
What do you know of this?
Vast holes carved from the stone of the mountain, lined with the chiseled marble figures of paragons, so fine as to mirror life itself. Soaring ceilings grand enough to make any man forget the sky and the sun, and to question the reason for their existence. I have heard of these things and more, but none prepared me for what I have seen here. It is marvelous.
Let's just move on. Commoner, Nug Wrangler.
Excuse me, you look like you're not from around here.
Oh, yes, you could say that.
Oh, wonderful. I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
My companion here is a senior enchanter of the Circle.
Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation, and a great responsibility.
Why is a dwarf interested in the Circle?
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
You want to leave Orzammar? Why wouldn't they?
No dwarf has ever studied at the Circle of Magi. I guess you never read First Enchanter Caitlin's treatise concerning dwarfs and the non-heritability of magic. He tested dwarfs from 20 bloodlines and found they couldn't perform any level of spell casting, regardless of lyrium exposure or time on the surface. The Circle speculates that lyrium in the stone shields us from spiritual influences, and over time made us immune to them.
So, what do you want with the Circle?
I want to go to the Circle to study. I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
I can bring the Circle your request.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcast. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperium's Forticum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child?
She's so enthusiastic and adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
I'm not a scholar. You've got approval.
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's Luxury Goods Shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying?
Have a look at my shop, I hope?
Right. Yeah, I have some lovely things here. Lyrium enhanced, of course.
Well, that just happened. And there's nothing back here.
Ancestors smile on you.
Orzammar has carved a legacy from the stone, but history is more than the comings and goings that fill the streets. These caverns are old cuts and well traveled. The true will of the stone is revealed far from the halls of politics and commerce. The shaper must step away from the familiar and seek out revelations from the frontier or buried secrets from paths abandoned. The shaper must first walk away if he is to return. First steps from the shaper's life. Apparently, that's a book for shapers. I feel like that was quite obvious and I shouldn't have said anything.
What's this? An elf? I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesha's permission. And I've heard nothing of any new patrols scheduled to leave today.
And why do you need patrols?
Don't let the comm fool you. The Darkspawn are down there, aren't they, Commander?
Either we finally have the edge, which I doubt, or the beasts are building up numbers for the next attack.
Actually, they made their move. On the surface.
The surface? But I thought the vermin never went up that far except
during blights. Ancestors save us if that's what's happening.
Are Darkspawn the only dangers in this?
Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin.
Deep stalkers.
Ugly beasts they are. Walk on two legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size.
Will you let pass?
Into the deep roads? Not without a full unit of soldiers to back you, my friend. Or Adesha's permission to risk yourself. Orzammar can't afford to lose its citizens or honored guests on casual visits to the deeps.
I should go.
Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again.
I technically do. Already?
Just can't get enough of our clammy mine air, can you? Did you need something?
I should go.
Aye, for your...
And here's hoping I don't... Okay. Somehow I triggered the speak to the dude thing, which I don't remember clicking on it. So that doesn't make sense to me. But whatever.
So the closer you live to the surface, the higher class you are. Unless you're actually on the surface.
Yeah, makes...
You have come at a difficult time. Orzammar is ailing for want of a king.
As I was about to say, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Is the voice of tradition and stability. Lord Balin is the voice of anarchy and ruin.